Requesting permission for launch. Yeah. Pro show. Yes, sir. Explaining entertainment, keeping them ahead of the culture. Good, that's right. Go for launch in 3, 2, 1. Here goes, sir. Start the countdown.
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
As the insider wdwpro recently speculated on.
Time and time again, he's broken big entertainment news live on the air.
I've been following wdwpro and his track record for years. If you want to find out what's on the horizon for theme parks, Pro is where you go.
He's like the honey badger. He just keeps scooping and scooping and scooping. He's like the honey badger. He just keeps scooping and scooping and scooping. All right. All right. All right. He's like the honey badger. He just keeps scooping and scooping and scooping. All right. All right. He's like the honey badger. All right. All right.
Man, that Pro guy, he got more answers than Corn Pop. I tune in every day right here from the Oval Office. Sniff hair and find out what Pro has to say every day.
Quick, Cheney, we gotta put away the Legos and get in the big boy chair. It's time to listen in to the Pro Show, my favorite show every single day.
I did not have relations with anybody during the Pro Show.
It's Pro. He's gonna be huge.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
Alright everyone, put on your comfy glasses. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Shut up now. I'm so excited.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun. From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show!
We're gonna do it! We're gonna do it!
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all! Sorry, folks, we just had to play it because it may be symbolic of what we're about to see today. Leroy Jenkins and then a miss. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all, and then the fall. Yes, we're talking about the Disney earnings call today. Get ready, one and all, for everyone's favorite quarterly holiday right here. Coverage starting on the WDW Pro channel. But you may tape yourself to your desk. You may Elmer's glue yourself to your chair. You can perhaps even tear off the dial, the very remote control, toss it in the trash, because we will redirect you to the Valiant Renegade show once the earning call begins. That will take place at 4 p.m., of course, and you will go automatically from here to there. You don't have to do a single thing as we endeavor to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. That curve is never quite so curvy as it is today, as recently we just learned that Bob Iger will be going on CNBC 30 minutes before the earnings call, and that portends that something big is on the way. And no, we're not talking about this show. We know that's big already. Just like this fellow who we're going to bring on, your producer extraordinaire, a fan favorite of all. Please, everyone, put your hands together for one, Jonas J. Campbell.
Hello, did you just call me a big curvy fella?
Yes.
Well,
no, I would never do such a thing, Jonas.
Maybe
no.
I should run for mayor.
You could. Jonas, you're running as a producer of this show, of course, and I think we have a big show coming up. Folks out there want to know what you think about the Disney situation right now, but I also know that we're going to be talking about the Warner Brothers Discovery earnings call and the ramifications of that happened this morning. So lots of stuff to cover.
Yes, absolutely. And this is all going to, I don't think we're going to be able to cover it all. You know why I know that we're not going to be able to cover it all? Because I spent 3 hours yesterday trying to cover as much as possible, and I cut off that live stream 4 stories short of finishing the job. And then Kevin Mayer, former CEO, heir apparent of the Walt Disney Company, was dropping news even while we were on the stream.
But that is why you get paid, Jonas, of course, to be the investigative reporter. And I have to say that as you go out and you watch these different live streams, as you read these different articles on these websites, it's amazing to me that very few still employ investigative journalism. But we here on the Pro Channel and on That Park Place, we still employ such services, and you are that service. And you have dug through and picked up some news that I think it's exclusive to That Park Place channel such as this. And I'm looking forward to your insight on it. Folks out there, we've got connections. We've got some exclusive content here you will not hear anywhere else regarding what's going on with the new CFO, what's going on with Nelson Peltz, what's going on with Bob Iger, and more. Get ready for it.
Awesome. And, in the meantime, we've got another big curvy fella coming on here. He is a Rumble sensation, the one, the only, Fat Steven JFG. Steven.
That's a lot of nuts!
Stephen, welcome aboard, sir. Happy to have you. It's been too long for having you on a pro show proper. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you for having me. As most people say, I will not do what Twitter does, and thank you for having me. I cannot talk too much chat because I can't do it for 2 more hours until we're past the PG.
Well, there's going to be even more than 2 hours, folks. Stick around. You'll be going from here to the Valiant Renegade show, of course, as coverage will continue on That Park Place partner programs as we cover everything Disney.
Now, we do want to bring in next a wonderful person. We always love to have them. Allegedly. We like to have him on the stream whenever we can. He's been traveling, and he's the voice of reason. He's a voice of wisdom. And also, because of his name, I really want to hear what his singing voice is like. Mr. CC Karaoke.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me here today. I'm humbled. It's an honor. I think this has probably got to be the most exciting day in pop culture in recent memory.
Absolutely. We're excited as well. And Karaoke, happy to have you on board for this coverage, of course. Folks, also, we'll be having some additional panelists showing up here in just a little bit, so hang tight. We will have even more expertise. I know it is difficult to imagine, but we will tease their arrivals. Now, Jonas, we are going to be getting
to tease them on their arrival.
That's right, Jonas. We are going to be getting into some significant news regarding all things Disney, but all of that said, there's going to be some big news coming out soon from That Park Place specifically, and of course that is the website and the YouTube channel that you are anchoring and editing and all this sort of thing. Could you maybe share a little bit for those who are here early with us about what's going on with That Park Place?
Yes. Well, it's a funny thing because it's a grand reopening, as it were, of That Park Place. Now, that is not the news itself. We have something really big planned for November 20th. We've got a big announcement that I think legally we cannot talk about until that day without creating a whole lot of problems for ourselves. But if it is as big as we think it's going to be, and we've got, and really, I'm excited about this, we just might end up being the biggest name in the pop culture space. And you all are going to have to show up and find out what we say, and we're going to put you to the test on that so that you can put us to the test to see whether or not we are just like Bob Iger and blowing smoke there. I think you guys are going to agree with us that we've got something really big to announce there on November 20th.
Absolutely. So November 20th, go ahead and get this down on your schedules, folks. We will be going with a live stream, we believe, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll start a special live stream on November 20th. We are going to have a press release that will also go out. And on that day, we anticipate that thatparkplace.com, as well as That Park Place, the YouTube channel, will become the premier news sources for all things pop culture. We're very excited to do that and to deliver to you. You may also have noticed that there are some changes happening. Changes when it comes to That Park Place. We're getting things ready behind the scenes for this big event that's going to happen. We're very excited about it, of course. But in the meantime, things are looking better. And let's start off, by the way, with this topic right here as we dive into the coverage of all things Disney, all things entertainment, going into this Disney earnings call. Here's what we've got out of thatparkplace.com. Warner Brothers stock drops 15% after earnings report. And this is by Amelia Iglesias. So happy to have her on board and writing. We'll drop all of you guys down here so we can see better. Here's what it says. It was a mostly mundane earnings call for Warner Brothers Discovery, but drops in particular forms of revenue have shareholders shaking. Warner Brothers Discovery recently reported its third quarter results, that having been this morning, revealing a wider than expected loss and a decline in television revenue. The company faced headwinds due to Hollywood strikes and a challenging advertising market. It goes on, folks, to talk about the fact that Warner Brothers Discovery lost about, as of the time of this recording, 15%. Now, it's saying right now at the bottom, Warner Brothers further noted a decline in total advertising revenue for the quarter, down by 12% from the previous year. But overall, and we can, of course, update this, minute by minute, but as of right now, it's in the realm of 15% total drop in the stock value for the company. That's a huge deal. Another thing that's a huge deal, take a look at this. Another noteworthy aspect of Warner Brothers' Q3 report was a decline in global direct-to-consumer subscribers. The company recorded a decrease of 700,000 subscribers, bringing the total to 95.1 million for the quarter. The decline coincided with Warner Brothers' efforts to make changes to its streaming services. This included launching the Bleacher Report sports add-on to the streaming service Max and providing CNN Max to streaming subscribers. I cannot imagine why CNN would result in a decline in subscriber numbers. Who would have thought?
Yeah, that's a funny one. I was on the earnings call with Valiant, and
all right, talk to us about it, Jonas. Analyze this, please, for us.
Oh yeah, first of all, let's just knock out this idea with Max right here. So CNN Max is a different product than CNN Plus. As much as they sound like they're the same thing, don't they? CNN Plus was aimed at people who would already be subscribed to CNN, as if they're super fans of CNN on their linear networks. Whoever in the world is a super fan of CNN, I do not know, but whatever. CNN Max is an intention to add basically a free tier or adding it for free onto Max so that they can get younger people who would normally never watch CNN to watch CNN. They did speak well of it. They're getting a good response. They didn't quite quantify what that response is. So they're trying to keep CNN alive in a different demographic. We'll have to see. There's been a lot of trouble trying to adapt CNN from who they were. That could position them well for next year, which has the Olympics and also, an election cycle in it, which especially if the last Republican frontrunner, the president at the time, becomes the Republican frontrunner in 2024, that is very good news for CNN. I just have to say that there. So that they didn't speculate that here. I think what happened is as soon as those direct-to-consumer numbers, otherwise known as streaming subscribers, once it came out that they had lost 700,000 subscribers, I think Wall Street viscerally and immediately reacted with lowering the stock price. That's not good news when it comes to Wall Street. In fact, I would expect for the Walt Disney Company earnings call that we're about to be a part of, if there is a dip in streaming numbers, there's probably going to be a similar reaction. More than if the theme parks suddenly turn around or anything like that, it's going to be streaming numbers that dictate the stock price.
Well, I'm interested in Stephen and CC Karaoke getting their takes in on this. And generally what I'd like to ask is, we've just watched Warner Brothers come out with an AM earnings report that dropped their stock 15%. Disney will be coming out on the same exact day, of course. So then the question becomes, does this portend poorly for the House of Mouse? Is this a pattern that we might see formulating? And the reason I ask that is simply because when you have this sort of thing, this drop in subscribers, I don't think that it's because of a tendency for subscribers to drop off of Warner Brothers specifically, but rather I think this may come down to inflation, discretionary income, and the fact that people have less disposable income than in recent past. So what do you guys think, that maybe this is actually something that is the canary in the coal mine for streaming in the short term?
Well, it's a write-off. Well, I think it's a write-offable expense. It's like, it's not a need, it's a want. You're hitting the mark here when it comes to inflation and the way prices are going up and up, that you're going to have to do cuts everywhere, especially if you're a larger family with a lot of kids. What matters more? Education, gas, mortgage, groceries, all that stuff matters a lot more than whether or not I can watch a series on Paramount Plus or Warner Brothers or anything of the such. It's going to come down to cuts until we see inflation start taking a dip.
It's a great point. And I see that DL Findle is making another great point out in the chat. The timing of this, of course, is important.
Christmas.
Warner Brothers Discovery takes their hits during the day. They put this out there, and then the market opens up, and they see what happens with their stock. Disney will release their stuff after closing. It's what Disney always does, but we will not see the ramifications of the Disney earnings call until tomorrow morning, and that may be a bit muddled because we're also going to see one of the worst flops of all time for Marvel, certainly the lowest in terms of attendance. Adjusted for inflation, the Marvels is going to be just tragically bad.
There's also
that'll be mixed in with the news cycle.
There's also another factor too. We're getting closer to holiday seasons like American Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Black Friday. So people are also probably saving, trying to get on deals like that, and streaming isn't one of them. There's another factor.
Absolutely. Karaoke, your thoughts on this?
Well, I think we've seen a pattern of the stock price following subscriber numbers in streaming, whether or not the company's health is strictly going to depend on the streaming. And I don't think of Warner Brothers as a leader in streaming to begin with, but I also think that there's a kind of an element where Netflix was the first to the post. They were the first company to be a streamer. And it's really, really hard to have too many different streaming platforms vying for people's attention. There's only so many places people can put their money, certainly, and their attention. The rent here where I'm living went from $1,050 to $1,200 this year. And that's almost 15% on its own. A can of beans that used to be 99 cents at the Walmart is now $1.49. So I'm definitely seeing my savings dwindle, not even hold necessarily steady or go up, just from the day-to-day life. Gas prices. I mean, if you don't have a car that's good on gas, good luck to you now. I can tell you my rig. I mean, I spent $400 or $500 filling that up at the gas station.
CC, I want to hit on that quickly. So you're bringing up the inflationary issue here. You know, the media at large tells us that inflation is under control to some degree. But I was talking with someone who is over homeowners insurance, and they were telling me that generally they're seeing something like a 20 to 40% increase in home insurance across the United States. And I laughed when they told me that. I said, well, take that consumer price index.
Yeah.
Talking about the CPI statistic that's, supposed to be down there, 4 to 5%. It's like, well, it all depends on what you're measuring. And these big ticket items, like what you're talking about, whether it's fuel or whether it's talking about the price of homes or cars or home insurance, what have you, it's all just destroying the disposable luxury income that folks have to be able to spend on these streaming services, which, by the way, those streaming services costs that come out of the household budget on top of whatever you're paying the cable company, or, if you're using a mobile hotspot, whatever, but you're having to pay for the service of receiving internet in the first place before you can get the streaming service. So all of it becomes more expensive than some families want to spend right now.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Now, Jonas, we've got some super chats. I don't want folks to have to wait too long on those. So let's go ahead and do the first round of super chats. And folks, we anticipate we'll have quite the crowd here in just a little bit. We already have so many of you out there, and you are so wonderful, and we're happy to have you. We don't want to make you wait not one more moment for those super chats, and then we'll get to our next topic.
All right. Uncle Brat became a YouTube member, and I'm not able to see the membership level right now, but I want to say thank you very much for joining the crew. There's donuts in the break room. Also, Floral from Under a Rock for $2.
Who is that?
Canadian dollars.
He's here for the donuts, clearly.
Announce now, you chickens, you dishonor your cow.
Nay, we say we cannot tell it right now.
Yep. Yeah, we might be in a little bit of trouble if we announce that one a little too early. Gramcast for $5 at wdwpro. Yo, if you are looking for new pop culture shows on your network, let your boy know.
Well, Graham, the person to reach out to is this one Jonas J. Campbell. Jonas J. Campbell, of course, is running thatparkplace.com on YouTube, and is always looking for more and more talent to be able to run those various stories each and every day. So perhaps reach out to Jonas.
Yeah,
and that's a good starting point.
Let's DM on Twitter if you got follow me, I'll follow you back, all that stuff, and we'll talk. And look at this. Some guy named CC Karaoke gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. CC, you didn't have to do that.
He's on the panel and he's gifting out into the audience. How kind and generous.
All right. I think CC is muted at the moment, so we'll have to catch up with him.
CC will CC his way back in the conversation in just a moment.
I make a habit of muting when I'm not talking, just in case sound gets through the microphone.
No worries.
Allegedly.
Well, we want to say thank you, regardless. Thank you so much, CC. And Jay gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you so much, Jay. You're always very kind and very generous.
Happy to have all of this benevolence showered upon us. It's almost like a 2-shower day here on the WDW Pro channel.
And Uncle Brat, or Uncle Brat, I'm going to say Uncle Brat, though, for $5, correct me if I mispronounce that. I bought a share of Disney just to be able to yell and scream.
Well, I will give permission to all of you out there, whether you hold stock or not, to yell, to scream, to stand, to do all the things you wish to do, so long as it does not have the cops called upon you during this earnings call today. I'm sure we will also probably be gassed and our mouths agape. I'm here to tell you, folks, I've heard from 2 contacts today, and Jonas has seen a message from me saying,
"Oh my,
I don't know what to make of this," but we've been told by 2 contacts now that something's up. So I think we're going to get a show later today. I think it's going to be something.
Yeah, and if it doesn't come up on the earnings call, it is still something that if things are going the way that I think they're going, we're going to be talking about.
You need to be telling me what you think they're. Yeah, because I don't know what you're thinking is going to happen. But two cryptic messages to me. I say, what is it going on here?
I have a question here. Is anyone else hoping that the earnings call will be video and they're all going to be portrayed by South Park characters?
That would be amazing.
It would be awesome.
Now, children. JRG Projects for $10. Hi, WDW and panel. Looking forward to upcoming business call Slaughter. My career is within the financial sector, so it's always fun to be here for these calls.
JRG, we are happy to make this the most pleasant experience you've ever had. You're already eating ice cream, and we are going to put it in the perfect cone for you.
That's perfect. I never thought I'd be able to make a career out of doing a color commentary on earnings calls and picking through the noise here. So I'm just as happy as you are, maybe more so. JL for $2. Anyone want to put money on where price goes? I'm on greater than 10% down.
I'm not going to give my thought on that one simply because, one, in the video, we cannot give any kind of financial advice, and that starts to go into that territory for us. The other thing that I would say is we don't know what's up with this CNBC interview that Mr. Iger is going to do that was announced all of a sudden. We don't know what that's about yet, and so we need to know what that's about before we make any kind of prediction as to where the stock goes. That threw everyone for a curveball, except for yours truly and a few others who were getting these messages from people inside Disney saying there's something up. So we'll wait and see what that up is.
Oh, absolutely. And, yeah. Also, Valiant Renegade. Some guy. He's misspelled Valiant though. It only has one L. Just wanted.
Well, he tried to get the one with 3 L's, but it was already taken.
He's from Louisiana. He can't spell.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He's a Valiant Renegade for $5.
Chicken.
We will see an instant stock reaction in after-hours trading for Disney. The Iger interview announcement on CNBC is likely to mitigate negative impact.
That's what I suspect, but I don't know. But you want to set the mood, and if he can't set the mood in that earnings call, and he needs an extra 30 minutes before the earnings call to set the mood into a better direction. Woo, this is going to be rough, but I'm with Valiant on this one. I guarantee.
I like the idea that maybe if we do a New Orleans accent incorrectly, actually this is more Georgia than anything else. If we do one incorrectly,
maybe southeastern coastal, I think at this point
it'll inspire him to get onto this earnings call.
Hey y'all, another earnings call.
I hit about 8 accents on there on purpose as I fluctuated through them just to drive Valiant nuts and try to get him on here. Space Dave 2000 for $2 Canadian. They're going to make Iger a chick, gay, and lame.
Oh, poor Iger. Poor Iger.
And you know who we like more than Kathleen Kennedy? That's Kathleen Morrison. Member for 6 months. WB paying off debt and Disney adding debt. 2 shower day. Yeah, Warner Brothers very much headed in the right direction with paying off debt. They're doing a great job of that. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And and Disney has no other option to take on debt with the Hulu deal. It's you hate to see it. You hate to see it. Gerald Durgan for $4.99. Hate to say it, but this might actually be more entertaining than watching the Marvels.
I guarantee you that is not the bar we try to aim for because that is far too low. We trip over that just in our sleep every day.
I'm hearing some early reviews of the Marvels, and it seems like if you're in the tank with the mainstream media, you like it a lot.
I think that this, it's seldom that a movie actually could affect the stock price. I think this actually is that bad, and of course we're going to talk about that and talk about just how poorly received this is going, but I think the Marvels is on its way to just being a tremendous embarrassment for Disney. And in fact, let me go ahead and show this real quick. We weren't going to do this now, but
actually, I need to point this out before you do that. Torgo the White came in. Legal Mindset raid. Let's get that.
Hey, Get in here, all you legal eagles. You've been paying attention to that trial covering Reedy Creek Improvement District.
What did you just call the legal mindset fans? What?
The legal eagles.
The based legal mindset. Let's call them that. The legal eagles. That's a whole other guy.
Legal eagles.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I did not realize there was a YouTuber out there who was an eagle as well.
Oh, yes.
How about the Regal Eagles? Is that taken as well?
I like to call them the replay gang and the based legal mindset.
The basers. Basers
All right.
and the 199ers hopping in.
Yep. All right. Thank you very much, Torgo.
Poor Pro making a faux pas, not knowing all of the legal analysts in YouTube. But take a look at this, folks. Here's one thing I do know. This is how bad it's getting for the Marvels. If you take a look at the review aggregate score for Rotten Tomatoes, which remember, Rotten Tomatoes, of course, is in fact a site which is corporately owned and thus has a corporate interest. And corporations, they don't like to be embarrassed. They surely do not like to have their own corporate buddies tanking their ROI, that's return on investment. And yet here with Rotten Tomatoes, if you click on top critics, you find out that only 34% of top critics like this movie. And how bad is it? Well, the average score is 4.4 out of 10. If you check out all critics, it goes up to 52%. Of course, we know that all critics sometimes involve what we call here on the channel review harvesting, where the companies go out there and they attempt to get the best reviews they can from folks who need access, and they're then given access in the future. 5.6 out of 10 on that review score as an average tells us that these folks are giving it just enough to get it over the 50% mark, because if you go and you look at the top critics, it's 4.4 out of 10 is the average, and that means the top critics don't care. And thus, the Marvel sitting down at 34%. We will come back to this, by the way, because there is an interesting op-ed on Forbes, of all places, which is going to blame all of you in the audience for the failure of the Marvels. So hang on, we're going to show you what they're saying about you in the mainstream media, and we'll have fun with that.
Super chats, or more commentary?
Let's go to the next topic for now, and we will come back to the super chats, folks. We promise. We love you. We'll read what you got to say, and we will ponder it. Each and every time you send us a super chat, we care, and we read them, and we analyze. Now, one thing that is also being analyzed, of course, is the Disney stock situation. Let's take a look at what we have here. This out of tipranks.com by Marty Strubel. Gotta love the name. While most of the big hitters have already released their latest earnings reports, not all have done yet. Or not all have done so yet. Once the market action comes to a stop on Wednesday, Walt Disney will report its fiscal fourth quarter 2023 results. And wouldn't you know it, I had this available, and now it's went to, there we go. We'll work our way on this. Maybe we won't. We'll see what we can read out of this. The readout comes at a time of change for the entertainment giant. Don't you love it when it's a delayed kick out? For the first time following restructuring efforts, entertainment and sports will be reported separately, as the company has split the Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution business into two separate segments. The three main reporting segments will now be entertainment, sports, and experiences. It goes on to talk about the situation for Disney and what they can anticipate in terms of up or down. And unfortunately, this site is a bit tricky. We'll come back to it in a moment. But I do want to find out, Jonas, what do you think will be the biggest factors today in terms of what happens to the stock? What are investors looking for out of Disney to find out if it'll be an up or down kind of day tomorrow?
I think it's going to be Disney Plus subscriber numbers. And if they announce anything foolish about Hulu, if they actually do try to merge Hulu into Disney Plus as opposed to the other way around, if they don't stick the landing on getting at least more subscribers, their average revenue per user can still go down. As long as those subscriber numbers go up, it'll be a positive. Now, they still need to go up quite a bit in order for it to be considered good news. Last time they lost, I don't want to say 700,000 in the U.S., so they need to stem that tide. And I don't think they have anything in the tank to really do that, other than offering it to people for $2 a month.
And raise prices to people already subscribed.
Right. They raised prices also in October.
And they're going after passwords sharing as well.
Yeah, they will be doing. I'm sure they're going to do that in the United States. Actually, that's a really good point, Stephen. I hadn't thought about that. They're probably going to announce that they're going to go ahead with password crackdowns in the U.S. because they already are doing it in Canada.
How did that work for Netflix? Anyone remember?
It went really well for them, actually.
Did it?
Yeah, they posted that it gave them quite a bump. And then Netflix stock is going up. Netflix is a very different company. though, and
Yes,
Disney
they're
playing
competing.
in this streaming space is wreaked havoc on their stock price over the last 3 years. So,
Well, hopefully, it
Now-
actually gives them the bump they need.
We'll go back to the reporting here. We've switched to a different website, of course. The other one had apparently a timer set on it, and if you were not a premium member, they waited until you were in the middle of a live stream with many people out there watching to kick you out. So we'll go to CNBC, which is selected for a purpose here, folks, because this is indeed where Bob Iger will be appearing, not on the site, but on the cable news channel, where he will attempt to frame however this earnings call is going to go. And I'm here to tell you, there are some sites out there, such as Barron's, which are reporting that stock is dropping ahead of the earnings call, and that may mean that investors, although we're not telling you what to believe, we're just telling you what may be happening, that investors may be feeling this is going poorly by the fact that he's scheduled this additional interview. Now, this is by Sarah Whitten out of CNBC. Disney is set to report earnings after the bell. Here's what to expect. Disney is scheduled to report fiscal fourth quarter earnings after the closing bell. The update comes as the company faces new pressure from activist investor Nelson Peltz. Investors are looking for updates on CEO Bob Iger's strategy for the slumping media giant. Well, I'm glad somebody's finally saying it. The slumping media giant. That's what we call a 60% decrease in stock value over 2 years. 60%. Disney shareholders will be looking for updates on CEO Bob Iger's plans for the media giant as the company contends with streaming losses and a slumping share price. The entertainment giant has suffered from a lower advertising revenue, hit or miss theatrical blockbusters, and is still dealing with the aftermath of the writer's strike and ongoing negotiations with Hollywood's actors. Still, analysts are optimistic that tackling password sharing for its streaming services like Netflix has done, potential asset sales and investments in its park businesses are the right moves for the company. Here is what analysts expect from Disney's fiscal fourth quarter report. They are expecting a 70 cents per share expected and $21.33 billion expected. Investors will be looking for updates on Disney's efforts to cut streaming losses after tightening its spending and raising prices for some plans. Otherwise, I would say that the way to read that, I think, more properly is Disney is attempting to send their subscribers on Disney Plus to an ad-based tier. We'll talk about that more later in the show. In its previous quarter, Disney recorded $2.65 billion in one-time charges and impairments, dragging the company to a rare quarterly net loss. And yes, folks, in layman's terms, that means they were doing lots of tax write-downs as they eliminated, canceled, and cut much of their content. Additionally, the company announced last week that it would acquire Comcast's 33% stake in Hulu for at least $8.61 billion, although it could end up paying more based on an appraisal process. Now, Jonas, that $8.61 billion is impossible. They have to pay more than that. Tell us why.
Right. 8.61 is the absolute floor of the valuation of that 1/3 share of Hulu. That was the price that they agreed upon. Actually, it's a little less than the price they agreed upon in 2019 because there's apparently some amount that Comcast still owes Disney, and Disney's holding their feet to the fire on that amount. According to them, they believe that Hulu is worth $27.5 billion, and that's the end of the story. Well, the actual process is there are two investment banks, one of them being Morgan Stanley, which is valuing it for Disney, and JP Morgan, which is valuing it on behalf of Comcast. Comcast has leaked to the press that they believe that, to Wall Street Journal, not just the press, but an actual legit financial rag, that they think it's worth more like 60 or 70 billion dollars. So if Morgan Stanley values it at $27.5 billion, then okay. If JP Morgan values it as anything more than $25 billion, then it automatically triggers a situation where they both have to agree on a third investment bank to value Hulu. So dragging this process out even more. So $8.61 billion is the minimum. If it's that $60-70 billion number, then 33% will be like $23 billion. I think in reality, I'm going to say somewhere in the $13 to $15 billion range. So
Disney put out this press release, of course, folks, that said they were going to pay this particular amount of money for Hulu. The press ran with it. Investors then increased the Disney stock. We're not saying there's a direct correlation, but some articles out there are saying that. And then it turns out that price amount that Disney says they're going to buy Hulu for is laughably low. And that in reality, we're probably looking like you said, Jonas, 13 to 15 billion, although it could go as high as 21 billion, which, by the way, is exactly what we have been telling folks right here on this channel as well as on Valiant Renegade for something like 8 months now, trying to keep folks ahead of the culture curve and explaining entertainment in a way that the mainstream won't, because we are not beholden to any corporate overlords here. Fair to say, Jonas?
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. Other than Pro, or who we swear our fealty to.
Yes, bow and kiss the ring. Now, folks, we also like to have a good time here on the channel. And part of having a good time is we like to play some fun little clips from time to time. And, folks, we'd like to show you behind the scenes right now what's going on at the Disney C-Suite. So hang tight. We've got an internal feed into Disney. Let's go there now and see what's happening with the panic with Bob Iger getting ready for the CNBC interview he's got to do. And Jonas, I'm just getting this in my earpiece. Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige are actually in the C-Suite with Bob Iger. Let's go to it now.
Okay, guys, I'm getting some pretty consistent feedback that you both need to be fired.
Speak for yourself, Bob.
Yeah, Bob, it's only when you came back that the stocks plummeted. Well, clearly I'm not the problem because I'm Robert Iger. I've been on my yacht for years, totally oblivious to what's been going on, for crying out loud.
You want to know what is the problem? I want to play with Star Wars, and she won't let me. No. Well, look, I like Star Wars. What if, and hear me out, we trade? I play with Star Wars for a bit, and you can play with Marvel.
No, Star Wars is mine.
But I put all those women in Marvel just like you told me to. You're not playing fair.
Maybe I'll let you play with it after Leslie and I release the Acolyte. I put so much representation into it.
All right. Well, speaking of representation, we've got Valiant Renegade joining us. And Valiant, you've got a very big show coming up in just a little bit. Tell us what you think is going to be happening with the Disney earnings call today.
Big show.
Well, man, there's so much we could speculate on. I've been monitoring CNBC, which is the reason why I just jumped in. Brett, forget his last name, from Goldman Sachs. You always hear him on these earnings calls. He was just doing an interview on the lunch break at CNBC. They were talking about his expectations for Disney. Obviously, he's got a lot of, at least seemingly outward praise for Bob Iger. Not many people have had his track record, blah, blah, blah. He's been very honest about all the headwinds Disney is facing, yada, yada, yada. Well, after that, they put a graphic up on the screen showing that Bob Iger is going to be there at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. And the guy said after the close and after the report. So that seems a little odd to me. That might have just been a slip up. He didn't say
it could be a faux pas there. That I don't see how those things line up.
Yeah, I don't know why he would go on to CNBC to address the report before the earnings call. That seems like that would be a big no. You wouldn't want to.
Wait a minute, though. Wait a minute, Valiant. Wait a minute. That may be confirming what some of our suspicions have been. Do you think that Bob Iger is going onto CNBC to try to frame what could be a negative earnings report? I mean, we're not here to make any sort of concrete prognostication, but it seems that way.
It could be. He's not going to want to address specifics until they get to the earnings call, where he has a very detailed, scripted outline to go through on that call, at least up until the Q&A. I think it may be more to, if anything, address it in the sense if it's out by the time he's on there, which it may well be. If he's starting at 4:05. It could be to where he's saying, yeah, a lot of people reaction, we didn't have a quarter like we expected, but here's a big announcement I'm coming on to CNBC to make. I think still this is about, in any case, there's some kind of announcement here to perhaps mitigate what Disney may perceive could be a negative reaction in their minds. And again, this is all speculation, but this is the kind of thing you would set up to do in this case to try to ease that before the earnings call. You want to put the big news out there, something that's going to get people excited, so that when those analysts show up on the earnings call for the Q&A, they're focused in on, this big new piece of news, and maybe not quite as much as perhaps some bad news that Disney's going to put out in the report. That's the idea.
You mean they're selling Star Wars?
That's not going to happen.
That'd be fun.
You don't go on CNBC to do this kind of thing for that. And I'm sorry, small potato stuff. This is more of a thing where it could be speculative here, folks. Let's say that Disney has reached a deal with, say, Amazon, for example, for a piece of ESPN. Let's say they've reached a deal to sell ABC. Let's say that they and Comcast have come to terms on Hulu. It could be anything. But it probably, whatever it is going to be a big announcement or something, or maybe they announce Bob Iger's successor in 2 years.
Let's narrow this down, Mike, because I think there's one of two things that's going to happen here. Either this is an announcement such as what you're saying, something that's very significant and worthy of setting the table for what's to come in the earnings report and provide context and all of that. Or this is damage control. And I think it's one of those two things. I don't think it's...
Well, I think it's a combination of the two things. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I have an idea. I think they're going to finally make the sporks that they start bagging and selling for $10 free again. I think that's what the big announcement
Liquid cheese at Disney parks returns once more, Steven says.
Yeah, the bracelets are now washable.
Absolutely. Well, I want to go now and show who's going to take the blame for bad Disney earnings and who's going to take the blame for bad Marvel's box office right now, folks.
Not
take a look at this.
That's for sure.
This coming to you out of Forbes, and we'll scroll up real quick and let you see the name of the article, of course, by Mark Hughes. Reads very much like a Disney PR piece. Marvel Studios' woes are overstated. That's right. Despite the fact that this company has only had one success, and it came from their chief now competitor, being James Gunn, despite the fact that they have seen losses on most of their films this year, and despite the fact that they cannot get another film out probably for another year, everything is rosy and sunshine according to Mr. Hughes. But here is the paragraph that many folks are keying into. If you'd like to know who's to blame for this, well, it is you. But regardless, says this paragraph, the Marvels should have been a home run sequel. While we can point to the unethical shenanigans and toxic behavior of fans, just fans, and of certain organized, hateful online voices obsessed with attacking women-driven movies or shows, if this film flops or underperforms rather than merely suffering a downward adjustment consistent with the genre overall, which would mean a box office for the Marvels in the $700 million range, I'd say, then it's entirely fair to call it a big stumble for the studio. Now, a couple of things here. One is the setup of that there is superhero fatigue, right? That's the idea that this genre is coming down, although Spider-Man No Way Home proves that's not the case. Though Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 proves that's not the case. That is baked into, that is the axiomatic premise upon which this article stands. But if it drops lower than that, so if it drops down to 400 million, let's say, which looks likely, then folks, it's your fault because you listen to organized, hateful online voices obsessed with attacking women-driven movies or shows. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we don't care who makes a movie. We don't care who makes a show. We don't care who is starring in the movie by and large. We want quality content, and that is what they fail to deliver on because they give us a facade. They virtue signal their way into convincing you you're a bad person if you don't go see their drivel, and then they drivel on. Thoughts?
Or go ahead, whoever was starting.
Well, I was going to say real quick, I don't have too much time, but I mean, on that, I was reading this article earlier and I was kind of laughing at that same paragraph. And yeah, I mean, this whole idea that, you know, it doesn't matter that the characters are uninteresting, it's poorly written, or these are superheroes that nobody knows. It's got women in it. You're supposed to like it. What's wrong with you? I mean, that's the kind of attitude. And it's like, there's no other excuse for this other than you just don't want to see it because it has women in it. Well, that's just a bunch of bunk and everybody. And then it's so easily disproven throughout cinematic history. Women superheroes.
Valiant, admit it, Valiant. You took part in taking down Barbie. Barbie was supposed to be this huge phenomenon, and it was supposed to be a blockbuster. And you destroyed it with your online organized despising of women. How did you do it? Why are you doing it again?
I reached out to all the top critics at Rotten Tomatoes, who apparently all hate this movie.
Wait a minute. Karaoke is handing me a paper behind the scenes. Karaoke says Barbie did not fail. It was a massive success. People don't hate women-led movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's why everybody celebrates Aliens as the best of that franchise, right? That was led by a woman. She was the superhero, well, not superhero, but she was the action hero of the film, unequivocally at the end. So, I mean, look,
corrected.
The whole issue with this is that the Marvels is going to flop. You can't blame anybody but Marvel itself. This idea that just people just woke up one morning and decided to just hate women-led movies, as they call it, or whatever.
I do that every Wednesday.
Well, there you go. You got one guy. But I mean,
all right. Let's go to Spencer though. Spencer, you cover these sorts of things, I hear. And Spencer, I don't know if people know who you are, of course, but you're a major writer for boundingintocomics.com. And what do you think, Spencer? Are there roving bands of organized groups online who just want to see the Marvels fail because of the gender behind it?
No, what my point is, Valiant took all of the main points out of my that I was going to say, but what I take away from this is that I am still baffled that they are using this line of logic. Like Valiant was pointing out, it hasn't worked for a while. It's not working. This, the Marvel's failure isn't just from male fans not tuning in. It's clear nobody's tuning in general. This just feels like the last dying, they don't know what else to do. So they're going back to the old classics of you're an ist, you're a phobe, you're a that. And they're hoping on that and the post-credit scene to get people to push that movie over to profitable.
They probably don't like that the post-credit scene leaked already, and most people who wanted to see it have seen it. And if you have seen it, you know that it probably wasn't worth a movie ticket price to go see it.
It wasn't worth downloading.
My favorite part about this all, and I'm not sure if everybody here noticed, I think I've talked about this with Mr. Pro, but if you guys noticed in the week or so since it came out that the leak of the post-credit scene came out, Marvel has started doubling down or not doubling down, but they've shifted the advertising of the Marvels away from, come see Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, Teyana Paris. It's it's not about the movie. It's all about the marketing. Come see.
Yes, it's about virtue. You're a bad person if you don't go see it.
Well, not even that. I mean,
come see the post-credit scene.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what I mean, Valiant. They're saying, come see this movie. You got to see this movie. It's a multiverse saga entry. It's going to build up everything. But everything they're banking on literally happens in those last 30 seconds. It doesn't take place in the movie. It's really, really.
Oh, that's bad.
It's bad over there.
That's not totally true, though. They did a whole special about cats and toys and displaying Funko Pops a couple days ago.
That's right. Fluffles or Flindles or whatever they are. I don't know what they are.
They missed
take a look at this.
Because they thought the first movie was a big success. It wasn't. The toy sales weren't there. They looked at the box office instead of the merchandise. Nobody cared about this character. The only reason the first movie did what it did is because they deliberately plopped it 2 months before Endgame and tricked you into having to see it. There's nothing leading into this movie. The MCU is kind of folded. Most of the audience is gone. There's nothing to be excited about with this. There's nothing leading into it, and there's nothing that it's leading into.
Allegedly.
Well, okay, so take a look now at this article out of the Irish Times, because I want to show you the difference in the narrative, right? Quote unquote, the narrative, and what we're all supposed to believe when it comes to Western press that's highly connected with the entertainment industry versus when people are just telling you the way it is over there in Ireland or wherever else. They don't have any kind of invested interest in this. They're not controlled by a corporate overlord that has connections with Disney. And this is what you get, folks. It turns out that you are not, in reality, to blame for the failure of the Marvels. I know you're shocked. You don't owe penance to Kevin Feige any longer. The Marvels review, the Marvel Cinematic Universe disappears up its own. You know what?
That's
Legal Mindset didn't even want to say it.
The arrival of a solid contender for the worst Marvel film yet will do little to dispel suggestions that this cinematic universe is disappearing. To say the Marvels is hard to watch would be a risk understatement. It's not just that it's not very good. It is hard to watch in a sense that a tree is hard to defibrillate. This chaotic, ugly, incoherent picture barely seems intended for exhibition. The horrible purple CGI, the characters magically swapping locations, the long breaks for utterly fruitless exposition. Our brains are not sufficiently evolved, or perhaps they are too evolved, to make sense of this audio-visual chop suey, which, by the way, was a great song.
It was.
But this is not necessarily a great movie. And you're not to blame. How about that?
But if you look at the trailers in general and how they put them together, it does feel so very mismatched and mishmashed all over the place. It doesn't feel like it has any congruity. Like the story, they don't even tell the story. Usually their trailers are a little bit more set in their place. It just feels like, I'll wait for DVD. Oh wait, DVDs are not existing anymore. I'll wait for digital. You know what I mean? It's
whether it's the cats or whether it's the blue fuzzball at the end. It seems that the only thing that would have people go watch this is the cute and cuddly. And it's neither of these three on screen, unfortunately. But, Jonas, lest we be blamed, let's go to those super chats because we've got quite a few lined up. And folks, don't forget that we will be going to the Valiant Renegade show in just over an hour, as that Disney earnings call will begin at that time. You don't have to do a thing. You just sit tight. We will auto-magically, he hates that, auto-magically send you over there. So turn off that dial. Turn it to on, of course, before you do. Rip it off and stay right here with us as we cover everyone's favorite quarterly holiday, the Disney earnings call. Super chats.
Alrighty, JL for $2. CNBC is all smoke and mirrors. What do you mean?
Hey, we're going to find out about smoke and mirrors, I think, at about 4 p.m. Eastern as Bob Iger goes on.
He's a magic man. Black Saber for $2. The Marvels is getting torn apart before the call. Yep.
And that is an interesting thing. I guess they couldn't hold the embargo any longer, but they are now embroiled in an embargo controversy because now the reviews are cratering them just prior to Bob Iger going on the earnings call. What a horrible way for this to go for them.
Yep. Kathleen Morrison for $5. Plot twist: instead of earnings call, Disney just streams Cat Cafe.
Oh God.
That might be a better idea for them than the actual movie, and that's really saying something considering they had 200 people concurrent in their Marvel Entertainment live stream streaming kitty cats. I mean Frugals. I mean Findles. What are those things again?
Flurkins.
Fergles. All right, Furbies. Got it.
Purgles, yeah. So Shrebbles, 08 for $4.99. Bob is going to need to take 10 showers after the day is over. Bob in a fetal position in the shower singing zippity-doo-dah in tears.
Not great, Bob.
Can't sleep. YouTubers will get me. Can't sleep. YouTubers will get me.
Now, speaking of showers and speaking of Bob, you folks out there, you may notice that we actually kept an emoji, and this was by popular request. We had a number of messages from you all that you wanted to keep the ghost mouse emoji for members of the channel, but also we have added a new emoji as our memberships continue to rise. There's a new Bob's Yacht emoji. So I thought you all might make use of that today when we get into the earnings call. So enjoy your Bob's Yacht. Make sure to set sail with not only Bob's Yacht, but 2 showers. It's a necessity.
Cornelia with $5 super chat. Cornelia is also the name of the planet that Star Fox has to defend. Any chance of Iger announcing Kennedy's retirement? Oh, sorry, I mispronounced it there. Yeah, you're right. Oh, what an idiot.
Cornelia.
And
come on, noob. Gosh, quit.
Blah, 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 blah. All right, answer the question though. Any
Valiant, you take that one. What do you think, Valiant?
I don't think that's the kind of thing you do during an earnings call. No.
I'll give one exception to that. There is a possibility that such a thing could be announced if they announce a creative restructuring. If that was announced, then everything's on the table that, that could be umbrellaed into that. But I don't suspect that'll be announced. It's not my suspicion.
Yeah, what's the likelihood of that?
Yeah.
No, I mean, nothing specific. There might be like an announcement of, like you said, some restructuring, and I that would not at all surprise me. But to start naming specific people that would be leaving during the earnings call, especially somebody like Kennedy, like it or not, that's somebody that's going to get a separate press release with all kind of celebratory congratulations and yada.
Oh yeah,
yada. She's retired. They're not. Yeah, I'd be shocked if they did that to her. Like just blew it out there in the middle of a frickin' earnings call.
Oh, and by the way, we're giving Kathleen Kennedy a Disney Legend Award. See you later. Bye, Kathy.
No, it's gonna be more like the ending of Wicker Man.
I think you're right, Valiant. I think the idea is to get ahead of the headlines, to control everything that you can find on Google or otherwise, and what people are going to read.
Control the narrative. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, regarding Kathleen Kennedy, there is one piece of interesting news that people need to be paying attention to. And this is obscure. I don't know who shared this with me in our back channels for that Park Place, but it was brought to my attention that Young Jedi Adventures, a little preschool show, is getting 5 nominations for major awards. If we start to see more Star Wars stuff suddenly and suspiciously receiving massive amounts of awards, eyebrows will be raised, because that would line up with something else we've heard for when we would anticipate Kathleen Kennedy leaving.
But come
we're
on,
watching it. We're making no statement about it.
Definitely deserves its special effects nod, right? We all know that. It's
definitely.
I'm just going to point out, you don't get nominations for 5 Emmy Awards for a show that absolutely no one should be aware of.
And there's no merch for it. Nobody's watching it.
Right. The merch is not moving, and no children are interested in this. It is only grown people who want to squee over current Disney message propaganda that like this show. So, all right.
Speaking of which, Jonas, we're getting another. Let's see. Yes, we're intercepting more from the Disney C-suite involving Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, and Kevin Feige. Hold tight, folks. Here we go.
Look, you two. If you can't play nice, you're both going to be fired.
She's not even playing with Star Wars. She just doesn't want me to have it. You have Marvel. Go play with your dolls. They're not dolls. They're accent mantles.
Well, then put a chick in it and make it lame.
I've already done that. Didn't you guys watch She-Hulk?
No.
Miss Marvel?
No.
What? Hawkeye?
No.
Who's that? WandaVision? That's not even a word. Falcon and Winter Soldier?
What's that?
Loki? Is that the one with the chick?
Yeah, I don't think anyone really watched that.
Things are not going well. Things are not going well over there.
I think actually, before we do this, I think we're going to lose Valiant. Valiant, where can we find you today?
Prison. Oh, I'm just going to be chilling at home.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, give me a call later. We'll talk about stuff.
Yeah. We'll catch up after the earnings call. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not
Marvels, right?
At 3:50 Eastern Time, Valiant will be streaming the Walt Disney Company earnings call for anyone who has not caught on to that fact over the last hour. So
Jonas got really nervous that people were going to believe that.
No,
Coach at Echo Base Network wanted me to go play disc golf at 4 p.m. Eastern. But if it's okay with you, Valiant, I'll come do your show with you. Is that all right?
Yeah, wait, you guys promised we're all going to see the Marvels after this.
Oh, you're right.
Huh. That should make Valiant
I
headache
bought
go
out
away.
this theater for nothing.
I got all these comatose patients waiting.
Oh, yeah. About that.
And they all die.
All right, Valiant, we will see you in approximately
About an hour,
58 minutes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
exciting times.
50.
Oh,
50.
yeah. 50 minutes. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Leo for $5.
All right, gentlemen, take care.
Does anyone know if there's any legitimacy to there being a Kathleen Kennedy email leak drop? Yes, there is legitimacy to it. We don't know the circumstances under which it would happen. It exists. We don't know if and when it will happen.
Right. And we're not part of releasing it in any way. We're just aware that it exists based on things that have been said.
Yes, absolutely. Space Dave 2000 for $2 Canadian. I can use super chats and gifting as tax write-offs, right? Yeah, people who run YouTube channels that they're trying to make into a business. It would be pretty smart. No tax advice here to write off those as marketing expenses.
The only problem, Jonas, I heard. Now, I'm not a tax person. I heard you can't deduct unless it's a 50 membership gifting. Though that's the only way. The only way.
Come on now.
We would never ask for such a thing.
No. I think you have that mixed up, Mr. Pro. It's you will get a visit from one of the new IRS agents if you don't buy a 50-member subscription right now.
Oh no, no!
Oh, that's fantastic.
They're not
All right,
agents. They're employees. Remember, we can't call them agents.
Hey guys, look who's here. Olaf Van S, one of our wonderful mods, along with D. Bud Martin. Member for 7 months as well. The Disney Investor Call will get more views on a 50K sub channel than the Marvel stream with 2 million subs. By the way, flu and cold sucks, but I don't want to miss this. Sorry to hear that you're under the weather. I hope you feel better soon, Olaf.
We do want to say, though, a huge thank you to our mods, to our wrenches who do such a fantastic job. And yes, Olaf, the funny thing is, we went head to head versus the Kitty Cat Cafe, the Flurbles or whatever they are with Marvel, and we destroyed them in viewership and all of that. They did not seem too happy about it, though, and I am here to tell you that Slade Wilson is still recovering with therapy from being banned from the Kitty Cat Cafe live chat. It was devastating.
Please, it's pronounced Fraggles.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're definitely not Frugals because they don't know what that
Down
is.
in Fraggle Rock.
Slade Wilson, the band man, for $5. So
Oh,
apparently
speaking
giving
of.
marketing advice. Yes, he did get banned from the Marvel chat. So
They just don't have someone who cares as much as you, Jonas. You make sure that Slade always is heard as close and as approximately as possible, and they just didn't want to They did not want to spend the time with someone like Slade.
I think you're just trying to keep the super chat up here on the screen.
I'm just trying to tell you that I don't think the Marvels put as much care into their different types of commentators as we do.
Yep. Slade Wilson, the bandman, for $5. So apparently giving marketing advice to the Disney Cat Cafe for their tentacled tongue cat toy is frowned upon.
Slade, it cannot be said any better than that. If we could put it on a t-shirt, we would.
Yep. Benjamin Loken for $5. Robert Iger, I am officially announcing my replacement for the near future. It's Alf.
Why do I feel like they're trying to take aim at poor Mexican Iron Man as he's listening in, preparing for the next show? Why do I feel like that, Jonas?
You know what? You do have a pretty good point there. And I think Mike will be on Valiant Stream here in just a little bit. So,
and in that case, Mike, Benjamin, this is for you.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
Never leave home without him.
And hey, look, JB's Spooky Reviews just passed 1,000 subs. I started when you did. LOL. Congratulations, JB. I know it takes a lot of work to do a channel.
1,000 subscribers is not a small thing.
Yes.
That's 1,000 people who have decided that you are worth listening to, JB. So we're excited for you to continue the climb. And mods and wrenches out there, if you could put JB Spooky Review, put the link to the channel in the chat, we surely would appreciate it.
And Cornelia became a YouTube member. I'm having trouble seeing the membership levels because I'm having a little bit of a technical issue here. But I wanted to say welcome to the crew.
Happy to have you. Very much so.
Very much so. And it looks like I have a super chat to translate here from some.
I can't imagine by who.
Looks maybe French. It's Slade Wilson, the band man, for $10. I am expecting Iger to simp for the poor decisions he has made to drive their stock price into the ground. Let the DEI with DEI. Oh, I get it. Let the DEI die as they put a chick in it and made it gay and lame.
Oh, good job, Jonas.
What was that second last word?
And.
Thank you.
Lame.
Lame. Okay, I just want to make sure you said the right one.
Yep. Benjamin Loken for $5 with Alf as the new Disney CEO. Mexican Iron Man can now get a role in the MCU. Robert Iger.
Iron Man 4, Mexican Iron Man versus Robert Downey coming back. I can see it.
Ooh, I like it.
And Cornelia came in at the potential level, by the way. So thank you very much, Cornelia. Oh, look at this. Mark Nichols gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Wow, Mark, thank you so much. That is extraordinarily kind of you. We are so appreciative, and we just are so happy that folks will get access to exclusive content because of your gift. Folks, don't forget that we have exclusive videos for members of the channel, and we had an interview, of course, with John Trent yesterday talking about the Disney Earnings Report, which is exclusive to members. One of the other cool things is that if you are part of that, not the lowest tier, so $2.99, which we love having everybody be a part of that, but if you're part of that higher up tier, you gain actually access now, and we'll make this more formal at the 50K mark, but already pretty much we're able to give you early access to every single video that comes out on the channel. We've been testing it out. It seems to be working, and so that's another one of those perks that we are excited about giving you all. So thank you so much, Mark Nichols. We really, really appreciate that.
That's pretty cool. And thank you very much, Mark. DCG for $2.79 Canadian. WDW Pro, the Walter Cronkite of pop culture.
And that's the way the culture crumbled.
You know, what's funny is that is Jim Carrey's impression of Walter Cronkite from...
you should hear my impression of George Bush as impressed upon by Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
I tell you what, it's pretty funny.
Apple Pits for $5. Where is the Disney grandchildren in all this, and how can they allow their family name to be put in the pile? Well,
Apple Pits, you don't want to know about one of the Disney grandchildren because she is just a little ray of sunshine.
Oh, yeah. And Abigail Disney, I believe, is the oldest Disney who weighs in on this. And she's not a fan of Bob Iger because she thinks he makes too much money.
Abigail is not a fan of much at all except being in the press. She likes that.
Yep. Oh, Slade Wilson, the band man for $5. Mr. Pro, Jonas corrected me earlier today with salient points. There's a first for everything. He's starting to grow on me, but he's still gay. Hi, Jonas. Hey, Slade.
Hey.
There we go.
Which
click
one
on
do you
it.
want?
Click on it, Jonas. You click.
Keep us humble, Slade.
There you go. There you go.
Tommy Tables. Hey, Tommy. Member for 7 months. So wait, are we just a small subset of inconsequential trolls, or are we a terrible and mighty force that can tank multi-million-dollar films? I can't keep up.
Neither can we, and we can't figure it out. I mean, this girl-led movie fails. Another one is the biggest movie of the year, and somehow, we take blame sometimes and not the other. I don't know. I can't keep up with the narrative. It's crazy.
Pinochet's helicopter tours for $2. I'm okay with being labeled an economic
bad person. You are Pinochet, so I'm not shocked that Pinochet would say such a thing.
All right, I've said this word enough. I'm trying to get the channel back to Slade for $5. This fan is glad to be toxic and hateful when Disney continues to produce emasculated male characters and unlikable, boring, and diverse girl bosses.
You can only say it so many times before the algorithm says, "Hey, wait a minute!
Nice save.
Wait a minute!"
Yep.
I always
thank you very
enjoy
much,
seeing what
Slade.
Slade has to say.
Changer of Ways for $5. The Marvels will flop because all the invisible and silent fans in the theaters from last time won't show up.
I think what Changer may be relaying here is that maybe there won't be so many tickets purchased by corporations that are not actual people with butts and seats. I think that's what he's alluding to.
I have a serious question. Did they go with the line yet? You're not a man, so you should be buying tickets only for women to watch this film. Have they gone with that one yet?
I will say, Stephen, there's been major backlash from the African American community because there's a line in this movie that I'm not going to say on this live stream about magic.
It's a magical line.
Yes.
Oh, the trailer line, yeah.
So,
Girl magic.
easy, Spencer, easy. You're lucky there's audio issues. But yeah, that's literally how one of the superheroes is told to do her superheroic stuff. There are some people who are not happy about that at all. So it's fun to watch them implode upon themselves talking about Marvel.
Well, they should watch Moon Girl then. They'll have plenty to be angry about. Or they could check out, of course, Everything Woke About Moon Girl, Part 1 and 2 over on my channel. That one's pretty bad. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Aurora.
More super chats, Jonas, and then we need to hit our next topic.
All right. Let me just take a look here. Aurora Uplinks, member for 4 months. I could rewrite Luke in TLJ and change everything. Please do.
You would also make money.
Yep. But not too much money, or you'd get sued. Reply by mail for $2. Bob Iger sells his shower water on OnlyFans.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh, man.
Oh, I think that one
Damn,
was real.
Major, you scary.
All right, well, let's take a look at our very next topic. And Jonas, if you could pull the... I'm all for getting those 500 likes. We're only 40 away, but we'll pull those down so that we can see just a little bit better.
I didn't put that up there. Let me see what's up with that.
I've got it for you. All right, now we go to what's been happening behind the scenes. And for those of you who came from the legal mindset, you probably are aware of this, but the media is spinning a bit here, we believe, the way that things are going with the new governmental power that controls Walt Disney World. Let's take a look at this real quick from Associated Press, which is supposed to be straight down the middle, but we know sometimes falls short of that. Morale is down and cronyism is up. After DeSantis takeover of Disney World government, ex-employees say. This by Mike Schneider. And here's what he's got. Morale and trust within the Walt Disney World government. I didn't know they were a government. Has deteriorated since allies of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis took it over earlier this year. I'm getting an echo, gentlemen. According to many employees who have departed in recent months, saying the governing district has been politicized and cronyism now permeates the organization, which, by the way, is far worse than a corporation controlling its own government through means by which that was never intended. More than 40 out of the 370 employees have left the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District since it was taken over in February.
raising concerns that decades of institutional knowledge is departing with them, along with a reputation for a well-run government. Jonas, I'm going to toss this to you for some math. Karaoke, if you want to do some math on this as well. Let's see who can get this first for me, okay? Have you got your calculators ready?
Sure.
All right, here we go, folks. You at home, you can play along. What percentage is 40 of 370? Play the Jeopardy music. Here we go. 40 out of 370. What percentage is that?
10%.
Karaoke, do you agree?
9.25.
I'm pulling up a calculator and trying to cheat this.
40 divided by 370. It's just shy. If it was 40 out of 400, it'd be 10%. So it's a little bit more than 10%.
9.25.
Yeah.
He cheated. He had an abacus. Now, gentlemen, let me. Okay, let's go back. Okay, look at the headline here. Morale is down. Cronyism is up, and this is coming out of Associated Press, which is supposed to be neutral. I just want everyone to understand how the game is played. We explain entertainment here. We keep you ahead of the culture curve. Part of that is explaining how the media plays their game. All right, so they have had 10% turnover in 1 year, and at the same time, it's the year in which there was a total switch in government leadership, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Jonas, Karaoke, Stephen, anybody on this, if your local Walmart had 10% turnover in a year, would that make news?
That's low turnover for...
No. This is devastating. They've had 10% of their workforce turned over in a year. It's terrible. The sky is falling.
Yeah. I mean, if we said 10% of management, then yes, that's a big deal. Maybe. I don't know. But
it doesn't, though. Look at this.
10% essentially after a regime change.
Bungie got rid of more people than that, and they did it in a week.
I think the key word in the headline is ex-employees. They're talking to the employees who did leave that 10%. And why did they leave? Are they disgruntled? I mean, were they fired? What are the circumstances here that you're not talking to people who are... Yeah.
Did they disagree with the political actions that have been taken in the recent months before the regime change?
It's a very specific slice of the
all I know, gentlemen, is that the sky is falling, everything is collapsing because 10% turnover occurred in a government district at the same time that the district completely changed hands. So everyone look out. Florida, probably going to float off into the ocean. The homes along every single beach will clearly be destroyed because 10% turnover. DeSantis and his Florida cronies have killed Walt Disney World. I don't know how they will ever recover from 10% turnover in a single year.
It's truly the dark times at SIFTOD. Somehow they'll get through this, though, with good fiscal management. By the way, while there are layoffs going on in other sectors and lots of companies are getting rid of about 10% of their workforce, I wonder if they've adjusted for the fact that there are so many people losing, I don't know, about 10% of their workforce. And then SIFTOD is only doing voluntary separations. So, interesting.
I will say this, though, going from the darkness to the light, Jonas, take a look at this. I think it'll make us all feel all right. It turns out that one of the oldest scoops that we've had on the WDW Pro channel, going all the way back to this channel's inception in January, has now indeedly doodly come true. This out of thatparkplace.com. You want to bookmark this website.
You need a plaque in the office or something that says,
I'm telling you. I want a 5-cent blue ribbon. But Tommy Table's the author on this. I think Tommy is out there in the audience. Tommy, thank you so much. New Legend of Zelda movie confirmed. WDW Pro rumor corroborated. Nintendo is confirming a new Zelda movie is on production, even to the point of a director having been selected. That confirms rumor going back almost an entire year, which is reported here and by WDW Pro exclusively. And goes on to talk about this tweet, of course, where it says, "This is Miyamoto," talking about Shigeru Miyamoto-san. "I have been working on the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now." How about that? With Avi Arad-san, who has produced many mega hit films. Now, there's something interesting about this. And by the way, here is the video. I would click this video, but I would hate to get copyright struck by my own self. But the the video from January 7th talking about this Zelda movie being in the works. But the interesting thing about this, beyond just the fact that it's a rumor that we've had for a long time now that finally came true in spite of the Hollywood strike, is the person who seems to be helping Miyamoto and Nintendo shepherd this in. I want to open the panel. What do you guys think about Avi Arad being the person behind the project?
I dropped this exclusive, so this is the second channel to get this exclusive news. I hear from a source that Avi Arad is actually a very nice guy to work with.
I'm sorry. Did I mispronounce his name?
I've heard Arad and I've heard
Arad.
Arad, I think he's an Israeli name, so Arad, I think, is the.
I've always said Arad, but yeah, I've heard it every other which way.
Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't want to get it wrong. Either way will work. Potato, unless he differs with that. But so, Jonas, are you being facetious?
No,
or
I'm not being facetious. The comment was that he was actually a nice guy to work with. No comment on his work product, of course, from that person. There's obviously a lot of problems with. We appreciated that we got a Spider-Man film when we did, and I think that we have all collectively looked back at those Raimi films that were popular at the time, and maybe there were some aspects of it we wanted to get away from. Looking at current Marvel, man, I wouldn't mind an Avi Arad Spider-Man movie. That being said, Venom. Fun, maybe not loved by all. I haven't seen the second Venom film. There's a potential here that this will be good. I like.
But have you seen Uncharted, Jonas? Because that's
no,
his
I
most
haven't.
recent.
Oh
banger.
no. Okay.
See, there's a concern for me here is that I'm kind of off put by the fact that they're separating from the normal CGI universe that we got with Mario. So does that mean they're not going to be having congruent stories of their universes, and they're going to be separate universes within themselves, because this is going to be real life action and not cartoon as we've seen with Mario?
Well, this is one of the things that's really surprised me, Stephen, is that it's not CGI. This is part of the scoop that I have gotten wrong, it seems. We got the part about the movie being in development right, but everything I'd heard was CGI. We've reached out to some sources to find out why this was switched over, it seems, to live action. And I think that I know the answer, but I'm not ready to say it publicly yet. I'm talking to a few more people about it first before we start discussing that out in the open. But I think we've got an answer on why they moved it to live action.
But the other thing I wanted to add to this, then, this also kind of wipes out the theories of them pushing even a Smash Brothers film in the future too. Then, right? Or even
and it's not impossible to do that. You could take the live action and move. You could transform them into CGI, or you could do another CGI movie down the road. But I think there's an industry reason that this is not CGI. I'll leave it there for now.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll be able to bring that out more in depth soon. But this is, I think, yet another shot across the bow at Disney, because whatever happens with the NCU, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, whether it is live action or whether it is CGI or a hybrid of them all, Disney probably doesn't have an answer for how popular a Zelda movie possibly could be. Gentlemen, any thoughts on how big this one might land at the box office?
This is one of the biggest franchises in the world. I could certainly have a discussion that is bigger than Super Mario. If they nail this movie, if they make this a universally loved movie, then it's going to do a lot more than $1 billion at the box office. The concern for me is that it's going to be a much, much more difficult movie to make than Super Mario Brothers. Especially going with the live action route. If they're going to go animated and take a little bit of a more Wind Waker light-hearted approach, even Minish Cap, then they could go a little bit more in that Super Mario Brothers direction. But going live action, they almost have to take it more seriously, and they have to get. The level of scrutiny that this movie will come under if it does not get every detail of the lore in the world and the art design correct. It's at least going to be at the level of Marvel and Star Wars, and I think it's going to be higher than that. Personally, if I'm not overestimating that, they have to get it so perfectly correct.
That Master Sword.
We're talking about and you're going to have to toe that line too, because it needs to be family friendly. But in going live action, you're going to be going more Twilight Princess than you're going to be going anywhere near the Wind Waker, which is certainly going to mean some darker imagery. And I was thinking to myself yesterday that the temptation is going to be to throw $500 million or more at this and construct a trilogy of movies, because you cannot possibly tell the whole story of Hyrule and all of its people and all of its cultures in a 2-hour film. You can't do it.
It's especially like if you look at things like Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is its own world in itself, and
that's where I was going with this. If they're smart, they'll go with the Majora's Mask route. Like one contained movie in a small space with a small cast of characters in a great kind of vein like Groundhog Day. You have that looming threat, but you can introduce the cultures and characters on a smaller scale and get fan feedback about the cast. And if you want Ganon to be kind of behind the threat, it's a little bit of a change from Majora's Mask, but that's fine. And then you glean from a contained first.
Right, and then if he starts in Termina and goes to Hyrule, then you can set the stakes of Hyrule after you've already established Link. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But one of the great things about Zelda is that every entry is kind of its own standalone thing. Like you could pick up Skyward Sword, you don't need to play Ocarina. I think that's like what they're going to do here. They're going to give us a new Zelda story that has a lot of beats that we know, like Ganondorf and dungeons and Triforce. But I think they're going to go original story route like they did with Mario, because you guys are completely right. You can't fit the plot of pretty much any of the games into an hour and a half without completely compromising it.
Well, let's say they decided to break it up and make it like a 3-parter, and the first one is just an introduction. That way you have three parts of the Triforce, and each one's its own installment. They could push that too.
You could, yeah, definitely.
So the aspect that I'm going to throw in here is on the business side of things. Zelda is a franchise that has feminine appeal as well. Whatever it is, I've known a lot of girls who really like Legend of Zelda. They also happen to be the ones that call Link Zelda for some reason. Many of them do. But if Sony does what I think Avi Arad is going to want to do and cast Tom Holland as Link, they'll have that female audience. I don't necessarily like giving. I don't like the default answer for all sprightly young boys to be Tom Holland, but I see that within the realm of possibility. It's Sony. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but this is a franchise that I see some danger in trying to appeal to both the older male fans of the franchise and also teenage girls. So that's a line that they have to straddle. And again, but I'm not so sure that Avi Arad is going to be able to straddle that line.
But here's the thing, that also links back to what we talk about all the time. These female fans like Zelda for what it is. I don't think I think for the fans, they want to see, what we've gotten, like we always do. It's the executives at the top who are going to go, how do we, girl power this? How do we get Teyana Paris to be Link's sidekick or something like that?
She's going to be Impa, by the way. If they put a strong female character in there, it's going to be Impa. Don't make it Zelda, guys. You've got Impa right here that can be your strong female character. Don't ruin Zelda by trying to make her an action hero. And of course,
Zelda, Zendaya. I'm seeing something here, guys. What's great for lunch? Great day at the Sony Pictures executive meeting.
there is a good side to the whole it being live action, is that we don't have to worry about it turning out to things like Spirits Within and Final Fantasy and that travesty of the film. So.
Yep. You could say that animation for Spirits Within was revolutionary for the time, and that's
not the story.
The only thing
I was 10 years old and I loved watching all the visuals. Couldn't tell you what happened, but it was very fun to look at.
I prefer Advent Children myself.
Advent Children was
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Well,
Advent Children stream.
Pro, I hate to play that producer role here, but we've got some super chats, and we got, oh my goodness, actually, Medmut just gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Extremely kind. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, right off.
You are the best. We are going to be not winding down just yet, but we do want to wind down before Valiant gets going too hard here. Mr. Buttcrack Media also gifted 1 WDW Pro membership. Thank you so much, Mr. Buttcrack Media. We do appreciate you.
Every single time.
Black Saber for $2. Doesn't Alf eat cats?
It's an urban legend.
And there were no witnesses. Base player iffy for $4.99. Your spending has been illegal. Your leadership is fatal. We expect more leaks and rumors. Makes no sense hiring.
Where have I heard that before? Wait a minute. Do you remember this?
Things are going down the crapper. It's not good for investors. It's not just one bad decision. You're getting a call from Trian. Dang it, Bob! You're spending.
Absolutely.
Song is stuck in my head more often than I want to admit.
We need to get Flora to re-record that with better lighting. He did a great job in one moment, and we just need to get him to take it over the edge here. Come on, Flora.
Absolutely.
Benjamin
By the way,
Loken.
Jonas, as you go to this next one, let me just say this too, folks. For live coverage of the Disney earnings call, thatparkplace.com in the top left corner will have live streaming analysis as well as the Valiant Renegade show embedded into that article. You'll be able to watch it, and you'll be able to see the I guess the major headlines and points appear as they happen live. You can also check out, of course, the Renegade channel live. We'll be redirecting you there. Both of these will have the same feed exactly, and so choose your location, but it will definitely be, we hope, with Valiant Renegade. Myself, Jonas will be there, and I think, Jonas, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike is going to be there as well, correct?
I do believe so, and also Andrew from the Legal Mindset.
Yes.
Jay from Drunk 3PO, and I've heard that Gary from Nerdrotic, and there may even be an extra special guest that Valiant has been working on getting them on the channel. So
listen to that lineup, folks. You do not want to miss that. That is like the Titans team up of the Sphere.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Spencer. All right, let's see here. We're at Benjamin Loken for $2. I'm sorry, Mexican Iron Man. Lol.
We're not sorry. We're not sorry at all.
You can choose to feel sorry for yourself. I hope you don't.
Exactly.
Diabetes. Donna Hergenrether, member for 3 months, having a wonderful time following you all day. This is more fun than anything Disney. Keep up the great fun. Thank you so much, Donna. Much appreciated.
We try. We try.
DCG for $6.99 Canadian. Any news on whether or not Paramount Plus had a subscriber growth since Pandaverse?
I would be shocked if they didn't, but we don't know that for sure yet. We will know some stuff, I think, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Their earnings call didn't go particularly well. That wouldn't include the current numbers yet. I think Paramount is aiming to get bought. That seems to be what's going on with that company. Changer of Ways for $5. I vote we call him Blob Ogre. Because he's like a swamp monster that overtakes and dissolves everything he touches. That's why all his showers fail.
What about
Wow.
John over at this point?
Get in my belly.
We've got a preview of the earnings call right here, folks. Apparently, according to Changer of Ways.
I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
That's a nice Bobby. I like that Bobby. No, I'm sorry.
That boulder has remained stable over several quarters, and we're proud of that as storytellers here at the Walt Disney Company.
We're really proud of how we've leveraged our diverse talent in making this rock your new favorite character.
Roger, the Artful Lodger for $5. My wife and I both love this channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you for what you and all of the contributors do. Thank you so much, Roger.
Well, we're happy to do it, Roger, and so glad that you enjoy the content. That's the greatest blessing we have, I suppose, is that we get to do something that brings joy to others. That's always the hope each day. Now, speaking of contributors and the zaniness that sometimes we participate in here, Jonas, we've got another live feed into the Disney C-suite. Hang tight.
Kathleen, you're fired. What? No fair. He doesn't even have a plan. Yeah, she's got a point. Kevin, you're fired too.
What? Bob, you know what? I'm going to tell everyone that you're the one that hired us.
And made sure that our contracts were extended. So you'll be fired. Whoa now, wait a minute. You don't get too hasty. We here at the company really do believe in our creative talents, and I could really use a shower. You know what? Great news. I'm convinced we're all doing a great job, and no one is fired.
I love that it's in Walt's office.
Yeah, right.
Thank you again, Roger, and great job, Floral. Changer of Waves for $5. I want a dark 80s fantasy type Majora's Mask movie like Return to Oz or Dark Crystal, complete with puppets and traumatized kids. Man, I'll tell you what, the Wedding Mask storyline from Majora's Mask is so good.
Oh my god, I think about it all the time. Whenever I think of Majora's, that's the one that like stands out because you have to go through all, like you have to do it multiple times and use the time mechanic, and it's just so good. And then that
timer
at the end,
counting down that entire time as you wait and wait and wait.
and then at the very end when you complete it, and it's literally like 1 second left before the moon crashes, and all you can do is play the song and just reset everything.
Medmutt for $10. Anyone gonna join Jim Cramer's investment club for a measly $400 annual membership so he can tell you how great Disney stock is? Sounds like a sure thing to me. Barf.
No way. Does he really have a $400 membership like investment club? There's no. Just do the opposite of whatever he ever says.
It's
I think it'd be great. You literally pay your $400. You listen to Kramer. You do the opposite. You get rich. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. I can't imagine a better way of making money than doing absolutely the opposite of what that man tells you to do.
What if that's what happens on the earnings call? We get the announcement that Kramer is the new CFO. Turn everything around.
Oh no.
I got your message from the back, Pro. I'm going to work on that in just a second.
Thank you, Jonas.
Medmutt gift that this is I want to note it again. Medmutt did gift 20 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Medmutt. Very kind.
Fat Steven, member for 4 months. Steven, you want to read your own super chat?
No, you can do it to Morgan Freeman.
Too hard, too strong. Pro, get things done.
Member
for 4 months.
I'm happy to do so.
I forgot it.
And
don't forget your black girl magic.
And
That's
don't forget your black girl.
Voodoo. You do, Captain Marvel.
So you're a superhero now? Stuttering Guitarist gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you so much, Stuttering Guitarist. By the way, Stuttering Guitarist is doing articles for that place. Fantastic work.
Yes, absolutely. And SG sent me over some of his musical endeavors, and I'm looking forward to hearing those very soon. He actually has a guitar that he designed, which is currently in production right now from a major guitar
company. I never
company.
know if I'm allowed to talk about it or not talk about it. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Stuttering. So I know it's there. I want to promote it, but let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to. You folks out there, I mean, we're talking about celebrities using this guitar. Stuttering Guitarist is amazing.
Yep. Stuttering Guitarist member for 4 months. Very open to seeing an upside down view of the universe today.
I think that might happen.
It's a very mystifying way of phrasing that. Stuttering Guitarist is also a poet. I'll throw that in there. Jacob Foxfires 964 for $5. Zelda could have her own role since she is usually a magic adept character. Good point. Just as long as it doesn't overtake Link in his role. I think we got a lot of Zelda fans here, and Legend of Zelda fans, I should say.
She's our friend and she's crazy.
I don't know how to sympathize Zelda, but I like it.
If only David Harbour plays the King of Hyrule.
Millie Bobby Brown for Zelda. Let's do
it. As a drunken shower beer.
I want every time Zelda uses her magic for a little blood to come out of one nostril. No connection there at all, of course, to Stranger Things.
All right, then Noah Wolfhard or whatever his name is. Finn Wolfhard as Link. That's it. We've got our
Oh my gosh.
What a name, Finn Wolfhard. Jim Jam for $4.99. Can we have a We Tell Great Stories counter for the earnings call live stream today? Ooh,
no, but
good.
we will listen. Folks at home, if you want to play the game of take a drink every time, whether it's soda or something else, take a drink every time they say the word magic and see how long you last. If it's soda you're drinking, diabetes is on the way. If it's if it's a different type of bubbly, you're going to need someone to hold you up. And if it's water, I'm afraid you're going to be overly hydrated.
All right. Sorry, Pro. I'm trying to bring up this article for you here right now.
Please do. You have access to get behind it. Nope. There you go. Nope.
Is that it?
Nope.
Then I think you sent me a different link. Nope. Oh, no, that one.
Did you get it?
Take me off the main screen here for a second while I fix this.
Well, in the meantime, folks, don't forget that thatparkplace.com is your place for all the news that should be fun. Check it out as Jonas is working to fix this other website that he's trying to show us for the last 20 minutes as news is breaking at this very moment. No pressure, Jonas. Good Lord. You know what? Actually, Jonas, as you try to pull that up, if it's available, we've got one last feed into Bob Iger. What's that? CC Karaoke has just told me that Bob Chapek has entered into the Disney C-suite prior to the earnings call. Folks, we're going to go right now. Bob Chapek again entering into the Disney C-suite.
Hooray! Excuse me, Bob, does that apply to me?
Shut up, Bob. You're self-fired.
Chapek.
Nobody likes you. So, anyone want to go pet the hippo?
Yeah, I call the teeth.
Oh, poor Bob Chapek. Poor Bob Chapek. He can't get a break. He can't get a break. Jonas, any luck on getting that website ready to go?
Looks like a no. It has not filtered through to the apparatus that I've used for that. So,
folks, what we're talking about is
the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah,
I can
so
for you right now.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, if you can pull that up, Stephen. We're
already
trying to
up.
figure out, folks, how to get you the information
in the
that's just
meantime,
breaking.
Irate Specialist member for 7 months says, "Hail to all, hail to you, Irate Specialist." And
hail.
Speaking of hail, Space Dave 2000.
Oh, it
for
scares
$2
me when you
Canadian
segue that way.
says, drink every time they say RPU. ARPU. Ugh.
ARPU. Stephen, do you have our article perhaps ready? This is more difficult than we anticipated, folks.
We need a free account to read this. I can get a little bit of it, but it won't show me any more because they put it behind, like, a paywall.
They put it
They're
on
making
a
it
paywall
rather
and it hasn't
get the
filtered
archive.
through to the,
Making it rather difficult, I tell you. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm gonna try one more
We'll tell
time.
you the essence of it. I can see it. To explain it to the audience out there who may not be savvy necessarily in the issues of streaming, we want to give you the information that's breaking. That information is behind a paywall, and it's unethical for us to show you something that's behind a paywall necessarily. But I'll give you, without reading from the article or putting it on the screen, let me just say that both the Wall Street Journal and Barron's are now reporting significant retreat of the Disney stock ahead of the earnings call. Now, they're tying it to investor anticipation as to what's going to be in this call. We don't know that yet. We can't say for sure, so don't say to me after the show, "Pro, you said Disney was going to have a bad earnings call and they beat projections and it's great." I don't know. I'm just telling you what Wall Street Journal and Barron's are saying. We are currently 45 minutes ahead of the earnings call, and we're just trying to report to you the news as it's happening, of course. And Bob Iger getting ready to go on to CNBC at 4:05 p.m. ahead of the earnings call to frame the situation in the best way possible for Disney. Will that be a big announcement? We don't know. Will that be creative restructuring? Perhaps finalize details on Hulu, the sale of ABC? Any of those things could happen. We are waiting on bated breath to find out. Jonas.
Yep. It's it ain't gonna work, boss.
That's not good.
JL for $2. When is Iger on CNBC? He should be appearing on CNBC at
20 minutes.
15 minutes.
I think he's going on at 4:05, if I'm not mistaken. 4:05. But maybe I'm wrong.
I hope he
Could be
wears a
wrong.
Marvel's tie or like a Marvel's tag or something.
I'm going to use the technique. I'm going to use the technique that I use when I disagree with my wife, and I know that she is wrong. Say, okay.
As I said, though, I could be wrong, but it may be 4:05. Commercial breaks. Don't forget them. They always want to drag it out. Jonas, we have one more super chat, I believe.
If he gets. I don't see it.
It's all good then. All right. Well, I'm going to go to the panel right now and get your final thoughts on what we might suspect to see in this Disney earnings call. So, gentlemen, what do you think?
Nothing great. That's all I can really tell you.
Uncomfortability. Lots of uncomfortability. Like you
Lots
wish
of
you brought
magic.
brought a hemorrhoid cushion to the meeting. That uncomfortable.
You're definitely going to see a lot of the corporate cushioning language coming out from whomever they have speaking, whether it's Iger or I know they always have the various executives pop on for different segments, but you're going to see a lot of, oh, well, if you look at this metric and if we have been growing by this, it's going to be a lot of dodging, guys. Watch for that language.
I believe every time the name Peltz is announced, there's going to be awkward silence.
Oh, that's going to be so great. And like investors, when they get to that point, the name Peltz is going to come up. Somebody's going to ask about him and what they're doing. And that's going to be the moment of the entire call.
And on
Iger,
sorry, go ahead.
I'll say Iger in the perfect world, he's going to want to have complete control over the situation. He's going to want to make everything sound like it's great and that the future's promising. He's obviously going to announce something ahead of the call, whether it's a big announcement or not. I agree with Valiant on this. He wants to get the headlines out before the earnings call starts, so it just drowns out the earnings call in some way, shape, or form. The question for me is going to be how much his control over the situation is disrupted during the call. How much other influences like Peltz or anybody who doesn't feel that things are going well how much those forces are able to disrupt his ability to have complete control over the narrative.
There will also be one more thing, and I'm going to predict this. It probably won't come true, but I believe during the question period, if there is one, they're going to, how do you feel about Valiant Renegade or wdwpro's recent videos about this? And I want to hear
that would be
awesome.
Please, I would lose my absolute mind.
Well, I'll tell you guys, one of the things that has really struck me today is that normally we get leaks out of the company in terms of what we could probably expect in the earnings call. Now, those often don't come true. I mean, they come true, but they're often overshadowed by major mistakes by Iger as of late, and then other pieces of news that are far more attractive for investor activity. But today, it is airtight. So we have this impromptu interview that Bob Iger is going to do in approximately 13 minutes, if Jonas is right, 18 minutes if yours truly is. But we've got that impromptu interview, and we don't have basically any leaks that I'm seeing coming across the wire. At the same time, we've had contacts inside the industry who have reached out to us and said something big is happening. So this is really something to see absolutely nothing out so far. And we are now within just minutes of the early reports. So, Jonas, I guess walk us through what are the big things you expect to be covered? Where do you expect this to go? And are you surprised that there's literally nothing right now?
You know me, I'm totally ignorant on this subject here. I just did a 3-hour live stream yesterday on it. The brief version of that, the 3-minute version, is that we should expect to hear some kind of puffery around the new CFO, and Mexican Iron Man made a great point saying that however they phrase his introduction on this call, which he won't be on the call, but they'll talk about him on the call. However they phrase that is going to be very telling for what their intention is in bringing him on. He is a Ferrari of a CFO, so they mean serious business by hiring someone like him in order to run the finances of the company. They need to answer the questions of whether or not they're going to sell ABC, whether or not they're going to sell their India business and become content only in business in their India business, as opposed to trying to actually have infrastructure in the region. They need to answer some questions about what they're doing with ESPN. I expect they need to have, if they're big news from whatever is going on at 4:00, which, by the way, just to kind of throw that up there, Bob Iger will be on CNBC today at 4 p.m. Breaking news on that one.
Jonas, whatever the hard
whatever happens there needs to overshadow what I'm predicting is a softening of Disney Plus numbers. As we see, Wall Street reacts very negatively to numbers, lowering numbers on streaming services. So he's got to overcome that in some way. That might be ESPN's $35 a month streaming service. Who knows?
Well, let's
He's
go
also
to the
got
news that
pressure
is.
on because of Netflix's recent boon, like the fact that they just exploded. Now that pressure's on Disney Plus because they have an example to follow.
Yep. And I also need to point this out. Jillian N. Hey, Jillian. Thank you so much for being here. Gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships.
We are so thankful. Thank you.
And then Uncle Brat did the same. Also gifted 5 WDW
Jillian,
Pro
Uncle
memberships.
Brat, you guys rule.
Appreciative are we?
That's on top of Uncle Brat's previous generosity, as well as the generosity of one Space Dave 2000 gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships.
Thank you. So kind, and we're so appreciative
Marvel's
of those
review
gifted
room?
memberships.
Yep. And then Sick Lid for $10. Just like I suspected, none of you girly men have a public library card. Everyone knows free access to all major newspapers and magazines is available. But digitally, that's the thing I want to know. You might be right there. I'll actually
And
have to check.
remotely too. Can we get that if we're not physically inside the library?
I'm going to have to check on that. But Sick Lid, thank you for the tip. And thank you for the tip.
Absolutely. Now, folks, we're going to be automatically sending you over to the Valiant Renegade show. They'll be starting, or they have started, but they're doing a 5-minute countdown, and we're going to send you over there. You won't miss a thing as they're doing their 5-minute countdown on the VR show, where I will be headed in just a moment. We do want to take a look at this breaking news. In fact, this came out within the last 6 minutes. Disney analysts expect better fourth quarter results with eye on streaming. Now, this is the expectation, folks. This is not what's happening. What we're watching for is, does Disney beat this? If Disney does not beat the expectation, then bad things are going to happen in terms of the stock. So the expectation, they've got to meet it. They've got to exceed it. If they match it, then we don't get much movement at all. If they come under, it's going to be a problem. Here's the expectation going into this earnings report. The Walt Disney Company analysts will be looking for year-over-year increases in both revenue and earnings per share when the entertainment giant reports its fourth quarter and full year 2023 financial results after the close on November 8th. The analyst consensus forecast is fourth quarter EPS to surge 133% year-over-year to 70 cents per share on a 6% anticipated rise in revenue to $21.33 billion. During third quarter, Disney posted better than expected EPS, but missed slightly on revenue. Notably, the company revealed that its Disney Plus subscriber numbers for the 3 months ending July 1st declined 7.4% from the previous quarter to 146.1 million, a larger loss than Wall Street anticipated. Goes on to talk about what they are wanting to see. Ahead of its earnings release, analysts at Bank of America are maintaining a buy rating at a $110 price objective. We believe Disney has a collection of best-in-class assets in content, IP, and theme parks, analysts wrote. Near-term catalysts include additional updates on the strategic outlook and continued robust theme park demand, they added. Now, do we believe any of that? We don't know, but that is the feeling going into this earnings report. Will Disney match? Will they exceed? Will they fail to meet? Well, that is what we're going to find out over the next few minutes. And yes, indeed, we are now 7 minutes away from Bob Iger going live, and we are just a few minutes from us going to the Valiant Renegade show, where you will automatically be redirected over there. And some of us will be heading over there as well. Don't forget that you can also get coverage of the Disney earnings call and post-analysis by going to thatparkplace.com. And folks, you can follow along. If you click on Disney earnings call reporting and analysis live, you'll see that the Valiant Renegade show will actually even be in there playing live as you get even more ticker tape information as it appears. Gentlemen, let us know where we can find you on this great, big, beautiful web before we wrap things up today. Starting with Fat Steven.
What the hell?
Oh, thank goodness. Somebody took the lead.
Oh, yeah, I took the lead. Well, you can find me pretty much over on Rumble. We just surpassed the 550 mark on Rumble. We are a small creator partner, which means we're partner there, and we're live every day, usually 10:15 a.m. and 7:15 p.m. every night. We don't just cover gaming. If news kind of drops or crap hits the fan, so to say, we'll cover it live and stop the game right there. Come on over and take a look at Rumble.
And let's go to Spencer. Where can we find you, sir?
Actually, can I jump the line a little bit here? Because
Please.
I am expected over there I am happy to be on the Valiant Renegade live stream momentarily. In fact, I might be over there right now doing this same spiel over there and making it really awkward. So if you want, you can check out that Park Place, the YouTube channel as well, for all the news that should be fun. If you're wanting to get familiar with the issues surrounding this live stream beforehand, you can, of course, go check out the live stream there. I'll catch you guys later.
All right, Jonas, see you in just a moment. Spencer, tell us where we can find you and what you're up to on this great, big, beautiful web.
Oh, man, Jonas is gone now. Finally, we can talk about
Finally, the potty words come out.
Great? Isn't he awesome? Like, I love Jonas. He's so cool. But allegedly cool. Yeah, first of all, I want to thank everybody for letting me join today. It's always a pleasure to be on the Mr. Pro Show. You can find me daily at Bounding Into Comics. We're always putting up news there. Come check us out. Obviously, we'll give you the alternative to the shill press, as always. You can find me personally on Twitter at Kabuto Rider Mav, like it says in my display name. You can also find me on YouTube. I do a daily show or a weekly show every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, where I talk about I get more in depth about these sort of more weeby anime topics in the sphere than you might get on some of the other shows. So if that is up your alley, come check us out. And then, as always, check out that Park Place, check out our videos, check out the site. We're growing, we're moving, it's fun, it's fantastic.
There you go. CC Karaoke, where can we find you, sir?
Right here on YouTube. And thank you very much for inviting me today. It's been an honor, and I've been wanting to come on for a long time. If you sing karaoke or you're interested in instrumental music at all, you can just find me on YouTube, search me up, and take a look through the catalog of music that I
cannot wait, CC, to have you on for just a regular video. We need to do a one-on-one. Maybe next week we'll start planning that out, because I love your takes, your content, and your analysis. Folks, it's time to go to Valiant Renegade's show. It's time for the fireworks. The Disney earnings call is about to begin. I think it'll be hotter than this.
We're gonna do it!
Don't forget, folks, you're the electricity. Over 1,000 of us are going to go join the VR live stream. It is a pro raid. You are the gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
We'll see you there.